Hey guys, it's Benedictines the vegan. Today we're going to be talking about the meaninglessness of life. Isn't it crazy that life is actually meaningless? You are here having an experience, but it's meaningless. There isn't anything that you do that is actually important. You might tell yourself that there are things that you do that are actually important, but are not important. The universe doesn't care about what you do. There are people who don't care about the things that you do. That's because there isn't anything that can be done in this world that is actually important. This life has no meaning. It has no purpose. There isn't a conscious agent outside of life that has given life meaning. It's only life itself that is giving itself meaning. You see? My problem is in that life is meaningless. I mean, who cares? That's not really my problem. My problem is that there's too much suffering for a life that has no meaning. That's the problem that I have with this life. There's too much suffering for a life that has no meaning. We go through so much in this world, not for anything important. See, humans choose to suffer when they feel like they are suffering for something that actually matters. We do that all the time. The reason why a person will choose to go and work out, even when it's hard, is because they've convinced themselves that it actually matters that they actually work out and look good. It matters how they look. It matters if they are healthy. A reason why some people study a lot. There are people who study a lot. It's because they've convinced themselves that it matters that they gain knowledge. It matters that they get good grades. The reason why people work very hard is because they've convinced themselves that it matters that they get good results in whatever they're trying to achieve. Not because it matters. But life is meaningless and we're suffering a lot. And we know that it's meaningless. It's not that humans don't know that life is actually meaningless. There are people who have convinced themselves that life is not meaningless, but they won't be able to tell you why they think it is not meaningless. That's because it is actually meaningless. They just have not really thought about why they think that it's meaningful. If you start trying to think of what makes life meaningful, you actually realize that it's meaningless. It's completely meaningless. It has no meaning at all. But we find ourselves suffering a lot for a life that has no meaning. We find ourselves trying to escape our own suffering. Another thing that's crazy about life is that we keep on bringing new people into this world. into a world where there's no meaning, but where there's so much suffering. And people find themselves trying to escape their own suffering. That's a serious problem. That is a serious problem. Now humans have convinced themselves that the meaning of life is to escape suffering. No, we're trying to escape suffering because we found ourselves in this place where we are suffering and we don't want to experience suffering. That's why we're trying to escape suffering. We found ourselves in a trap. It's crazy to me that there are people who are willing to bring people into this trap just to watch them suffer, trying to get out of this trap. You see, when you bring a person into this world, that is exactly what you're doing. You might convince yourself that that isn't what you're doing because human beings are delusional, but that is exactly what you're doing. We put people in a state of suffering, and because people do not want to suffer, they try to escape. So every day they try to figure out how to escape their suffering. You see? That's what every person that is here is trying to do. You know, people are not trying to suffer in this world. They're trying to escape suffering. You see, even when they do things that make them suffer. Let me give you an example. Even when they work out, they don't work out because they want to experience suffering. They work out because they're trying to escape suffering. A person might work out because they want good health. You see, they're trying to escape suffering. They don't want to get sick. They might work out because they want a good physique. Maybe they're afraid that the person that they're in a relationship with is going to leave if they don't maintain their physique. You see? So we are trying to escape suffering. When you see people doing the craziest things or the most horrible things, it's because they're trying to escape suffering. Even when people do things that cause suffering, they're doing these things to escape suffering. When you hear that a guy stabbed his ex 37 times, you think he was just trying to cause suffering. No, he was trying to escape it. If there was an easy way to escape suffering that he was aware of, he would have chosen that way. If it was easy to just get over someone, if it was as easy as pressing a button, he would just press that button. But he felt like he cannot be okay in the future if that person that he was in a relationship with is happy with someone else. You see, the problem is that suffering is unbearable for many people. You see, that the guy that I'm using it as an example here will be trying to escape future suffering. He's afraid that he's not going to be able to he's not going to be able to accept the fact that that woman is not with him anymore and she loves someone else. He can't accept that. You see, so he wants to escape suffering by stabbing her. Even if his intention was to cause pain, he will be trying to cause pain to escape suffering. Maybe what she has done has hurt him so much that he wants her to suffer. Him wanting her to suffer is a way for him to escape suffering. You see, like, there isn't anything that you can do in this world just because you want to do it. You are doing whatever you're doing because you're trying to escape suffering. Even what I'm doing what I'm doing to escape suffering. It's crazy that we put people in this situation where they'll have to escape suffering because no human being wants to suffer. There isn't any human that actually loves suffering. You know, there are people here that actually do things that make them suffer. There are people that will maybe torture themselves. I've seen people do that. And you think they're doing that because they love suffering. No, they're trying to escape suffering. There are people who work very, very hard in this world. You think, they don't care about suffering. No, they're trying to escape suffering. You hear people like Andrew Tate telling you that you gotta work so hard. You shouldn't care about suffering. You shouldn't care about how you feel. Dude, Andrew Tate is working very hard because he's trying to escape suffering. I forgive me, Jen. When you see people working very, very hard, you think, they just love working very hard. They're just trying to do things that actually matter. When you see them being serious, because there are people who are very, very serious in this world, doing things that they feel like these things actually matter. They're just trying to escape suffering. There isn't anything that you can do in this world that actually matters. Life is completely meaningless. But my problem isn't that life is meaningless. My problem is that for a life that is meaningless, there's too much suffering. For a life that is meaningless, there's too much suffering. I love being in nature. I enjoy being in nature because I'm trying to escape suffering. This life is not easy, man. It's crazy that we don't mind putting people in this trap called life. And we're so delusional that we've convinced ourselves that we are doing the right thing. We are heroes. We are good people. We're so delusional that even when people say, I don't like it here, a person can say, yo, I don't like it here. There's so much suffering. I really do not like it here. We tell ourselves that that person is just sick. There isn't a person that will just hate being here. It is impossible to hate being here unless you are sick, unless you're suffering from a mental illness. Isn't it possible that they just don't like being here? Because life is actually horrible? What we would need to be doing is to try our best to have fun, because life is actually meaningless. We shouldn't be suffering like crazy in a life that is actually meaningless. You see, humans only suffer when they feel like they are doing something meaningful, they are doing something important. A human will voluntarily choose suffering so that they will be healthy, because they believe that being healthy is important, being healthy is good. You know, there's meaning in that. That's what they've convinced themselves. But we find ourselves suffering just because we are here. Not because we want to suffer, not because we think that there is meaning to life. No, we know that life is meaningless, but we find ourselves suffering. Now that's a big problem. Why should we suffer? Who have we wronged so much that we actually deserve this? Who have we wronged so much that we actually deserve what's happening to us as humans? We're not free enough to say, nah, this world is too crazy. This world is too crazy. I do not feel like this is an experience that's worth having. Nah, you're not free enough to say that. So really, who have we wronged to deserve dealing with this life? And in our attempt to trying to find meaning, we find ourselves causing a lot of suffering. You know, humans have convinced themselves that having children is actually meaningful. And because of that, they're causing a lot of suffering. They've convinced themselves that life itself is meaningful, even though they won't be able to tell you why it's actually meaningful. You know, until they actually question whether life is meaningful or not, they think that it's meaningful. But after questioning whether life is meaningful or not, they actually realize that it's actually meaningless. But because some of them actually feel like it's meaningful, they think even when a person is sick, even when a person is really, really sick, they must be forced to suffer because this life is meaningful. They're experiencing something that is meaningful, so they must suffer. What we should be focusing on is having fun. We shouldn't be focusing on things that are making our lives hard. There is absolutely no reason for our lives to be hard. There is no reason why humans must suffer. And this is what's crazy, because Really, if we wanted everyone in this world to be happy, we will actually be able to make everyone happy. I know this seems unbelievable. Listen, if happiness was our priority as a species, we'll be able to make everyone happy. Because we know what to do to make people happy. And we know what not to do to make other people unhappy. You know, I know what to do to make my friends happy. I know what not to do to make them suffer. It's not hard to make another person happy. It's not hard to make another person suffer. But that seems to be what we are focusing on doing. It's causing suffering for other people. That is why there's so much suffering in this world. Every person is just causing suffering for other people. They want to be happy, but because no one is trying to make them happy, they're not trying to make anyone happy. And they don't care if there are people that are suffering because they are not trying to make them happy. They don't care. If I know that no one cares if I'm happy, I'm not going to care if what I'm doing is making other people unhappy. I mean, no one cares about my happiness. Why should I care if what I'm doing is making other people unhappy? So we ended up with a world where every person is just looking out for themselves. Every person is just trying to make themselves happy while causing others to suffer. This is what we've ended up with. It's a crazy world that we live in. It should actually be a crime to bring a new being into a world like this. It is a crime to make another person suffer. It is a crime to kidnap a person against their will. It is a crime. Why isn't it a crime to bring a person into a world where all those things happen that I've mentioned happen? All the things that we arrest people for happen in this world. So why is it not a crime to bring a person into a world that's like this? There isn't any other place where things that we don't want to see happen to other people happen, except here. Now, the things that we arrest people for only happen here. Njana. When you tell people about antinatalism, they think it's just people being depressed. I'm Jana. Okay. They think it's just people, being mad at the world because they've been through so much. It's not that. Antinatalism makes a lot of sense. You must realize that no one wants to suffer. And we are bringing people into a world where they are forced to suffer. You see, once a person is born here, they're forced to suffer. Every person that is here is forced to suffer every day. Children are forced to suffer every day. A baby that's like a day old is forced to suffer. There's too much suffering for a life that has no meaning. At least if life had meaning, we'll be able to justify our own suffering. We'll be able to say, yeah, there's so much suffering in this world, but this is what we are trying to achieve. And this is what we want to achieve, you see? What's that? What the hell? Damn, I'm a coward. I thought there was a snake, man. What the hell? You see, I'm trying to escape suffering. If I wasn't trying to escape suffering, I wouldn't have ran. I would have just stood there. But now I'm trying to escape suffering. You think I was just trying to escape death. I don't care about dying. I really don't care about dying. It's not death that I was trying to escape, it's suffering. I found myself in a body that has phobias. So I find myself afraid of snakes. Even though I know that I shouldn't be afraid of some snakes because they're harmless, but I'm afraid of all snakes. When did it rain? I don't remember it raining. There shouldn't be this much mud. It hasn't rained in, but sometimes it does rain this side and not rain where I live. Because I'm kind of far away from home. I'm actually far away from home, not kinda. I'm going to my town, Malamulele. I need to buy something there. I just decided to walk because it's healthy. You know, it's good to take long walks whenever you can. It helps you think. You know, it's important that you think. So whenever you can, take long walks alone. Take long walks alone and think about life. Think about the things that bother you. Think about what you can do to escape your own suffering. Since that seems to be the purpose of life, everyone is just trying to escape suffering. Because what can we do except try to escape suffering? Naon? Forgive me, Janet. No, this place feels more like a cosmic prison. When you look at what we have to go through, you actually realize that it makes sense to actually look at this place as a cosmic prison. Like humans and other animals were so violent that they had to be put here. Because we suck, man. We suck. We can't get it right. We've been trying to fix the same problems for years. We've been trying to fix the same problems. But in the end, we end up causing suffering. And when people say, no, man, there's too much suffering here. When people say, yo, I'm trying to find meaning, but there's no meaning. When people say they're tired, we make them feel like they suffer from mental illnesses. People are tired, man. People are really tired. For a person that's afraid of snakes, I'm working in a place where there's lots of them. I'm such a hypocrite. This place is gonna need a lot of work. I mean, look at this. It's gonna need a lot of work. It's crazy that there's gonna be houses everywhere. 8 years ago, there was no houses here. 8 years ago, you'd actually not walk here because there was trees. Now, this is just one big village. People are saying that Earth is not overpopulated. Humans are reproducing a lot. And they're not stopping. I mean, the only reason why some humans are not reproducing now, not internally. I mean, some people that are not reproducing, but that are not internally. This is because they're broke. They know that they won't be able to take care of their children, so they know that reproducing is not a good idea. At least some humans are smart. I mean, it sucks that even the dumbest people can actually reproduce. It sucks that to reproduce, you don't need to be smart. You just need to desire having sex and bring people that are going to suffer in this world. You don't have to qualify to be a parent. I mean, to become a parent, you must be really, really smart, man. We live in a crazy world. You can't be dumb if you're going to be a parent. It sucks that most people who are parents actually suck. That is why a lot of people are not okay, man. A lot of people are dealing with trauma because they weren't raised in families that were good. They were raised by parents who didn't know what the heck they were doing. Because any person can have a child. You don't have to be intelligent. You don't have to know how to raise a baby. You don't have to understand what is going on in this world. You don't have to understand why you are having a baby. Why you want to have a baby. You don't have to understand that. So people are just having children because they're trying to experience pleasure, most of them. They're just trying to experience pleasure. And some of them just feel like their lives will be meaningful. Some of them just want to have a family. Some of them just want to build a bond with the person that they're in a relationship with, and they think that if they have a child with the person that they're in a relationship with, and then their bond is going to be stronger. But that's not what usually happens. What usually happens is that people break up when there's a child involved. I don't know why. That's why there are many single mothers out there. Men usually run away when they knock a woman up. They usually run away. No, men are scared of having responsibilities. But they'll stick with you until you get pregnant. See, men don't leave women unless they get pregnant. It usually doesn't happen that way. They wait for the lady to get pregnant and be like, she doesn't look the way she used to look. She's no longer as attractive as she was. I'm leaving. I don't want to be held back by anyone. It sucks that there are people that don't know what it's like to have a father, because humanity sucks. No, there are people in this world who don't know what it's like to have a father. And it's funny that nature make us reproduce that way. Like when we have sex, there's a chance that we can reproduce. It didn't make it in such a way that humans, only had babies when they wanted to have babies. Nah. Humans get horny. When they get horny, they have sex. And it might happen that they conceive. It sucks, man. That's why we must question nature. Things wouldn't need to be this way if we were in a world that actually was meant for us to, thrive and be okay. And that's why I have a lot of respect for internalists. They're fighting against their own nature. You're supposed to make babies in this world. It's harder to actually choose to not have children than it is to choose to have children, because you're programmed to want to make babies as a person, as a human, you see. So I respect internalists, because they were able to evolve. You to really reach a level of awareness where you actually understand that having children is not a good thing. You have evolved a lot. You're operating at a very high level of awareness. So it's important that we are able to, speak the truth, even if people are not ready for this kind of message. I like the fact that it is actually possible to reach this level of awareness. It's actually possible for earthlings to actually realize that, nah, man, the things that are actually happening here don't make sense. Yeah, dogs are brutal, man. Dogs are brutal. Here's another one. See, they can't operate outside their own programming. They're programmed to bark, I guess. They're programmed to feel like this is their territory and no one should walk in their territory. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if dogs actually became so aware that they realize that what they're doing is actually stupid. You might say, no, no, it's not stupid. Like, no, man. Yeah, if they weren't doing that, if they weren't barking because they felt like I was invading their territory, it wouldn't be stupid. If they felt like, okay, this guy is a thief, then it wouldn't be stupid. But what they're doing now is stupid. They don't know what the heck they're doing. They're just programmed to react that way when they feel like someone is invading their territory. And they don't realize that dogs that bark a lot are not that scary. It's dogs that don't bark that are actually scary, because you don't know how dangerous they are. But when a dog starts barking, you're like, it will just bark, man. It's not gonna do anything. When you see a dog just staring at you, doing nothing, you know that, hey, something might happen here. I was never bitten by a dog that actually that loves barking. All the dogs that beat me were the dogs that didn't like barking. Isn't it crazy that there's too many humans here on Earth? Like, not that many humans were like, we shouldn't be making babies. It's not necessary for us to make babies. I'm not sure if I won't be transpassing because I've never really been this side before. Yeah, but I won't be transpassing. I'm trying to make it to my town. This place is dirty. It's crazy that not that many humans are conscious enough to actually realize that they don't have to have children. It's not a must. No one is going to arrest you if you don't have children. No, some people might think that there's something wrong with you, or you don't have children because you can't have children. Especially if you are married. You know how people are. They'll say, this person cannot have children. I mean, this person has been married for way too long to not be having babies right now. It means that they can't have babies. It means that They're sterile. No, humans love to criticize one another, and for stupid reasons, for stupid egotistical reasons. So you can't expect life to be great. You can't expect humans to get rid of suffering if they love criticizing one another. Because the reason why they criticize one another is to actually make themselves feel better about their own lives. To actually feel like, well, there are people that are actually doing worse than me. You know, there are people who want children that can have children. I have children, you know, I've achieved something in this world. You know, there are people who actually believe that having children is an achievement. It's not an achievement. Having children is not an achievement. Any person can have children. Listen, every person that's not sterile can have children. Even if that person is stupid, even if that person is completely broke, even if that person is homeless. You know, they can make babies with other homeless people. Even if a person is broke, they can have children with, you know, people that are on their level. Any person that's not sterile can have babies. So it isn't really an achievement. You know, it isn't anything special. They're just bringing people into this world to suffer. Especially if you're not doing well in this world. You know, humans think they're better than animals, even though they're doing the same things that animals are doing. They don't think. They don't challenge themselves enough. They don't try to expand their awareness. You know, they're just doing the things that they're programmed to do. Just like animals. Animals are just trying to do what they're programmed to do. Those dogs were barking at me because they were programmed to do that. They're not conscious enough to realize that they didn't have to bark at me. So, you see, humans are not as intelligent as they think they are. They just know how to use things that other people have created. I'm recording this video on a DJI Pocket 2. I can't create this thing. Even if you gave me all the tools in the world, I'll never ever be able to create this thing. It's impossible for me to create this thing. I just know how to use it. But I'll say that human beings are smart. Look at what we have achieved. Look at the kind of technology that we have. I didn't create any of the things that we use. And one thing that we must realize as humans is that monkeys can actually use technology. Monkeys can use technology. Like if we can give monkeys technology that's just designed for them to use, they'll be able to use it. In order to gain an advantage over other monkeys. Now, humans are just monkeys, man. They're just monkeys with the ability to pass on knowledge, with an ability to communicate more effectively. Might actually be lost here. Might actually be lost. I'll need to ask these kids what's the fastest road that I can use to get to my town. Again? Guys, nibonga ngari nilahlekile loko a town ningafamba so lo yeah no lo nota so or ne nifamba straight hi atsako
lewani iyahlwele makoko na lenga na pfuvu
yingana yini
pfuvu
pfuvu ya straight
eh
ni loko hi vona ke
mimi ta hi leshala ka ZCC mi heta ivi mi jika hi leyi khona lewani
yeah
leya mi heta ka mujikina ni ivi mi famba straight mi ta kuma xindlelani mi vha hi xo ivi mi heta tidarata ta xikolo
xikolo xa i mani vito ra xikolo xa kona
Malamulele hayi
okay
ivi mi heta mi famba straight ivi ku ta fika ku va na ku va se ku va na la xelelaka ivi mi fika mi jika so loko mi tlhe mi famba ivi vona xindlela ivi mi kuma patu mi famba hi rona
pfuvu yi le kwini
yi a ni mi ta vha ku ti kwanisisoko ivi mi ta kuma xitarata xo ya xo gonya hala ku tlhela na lexo gonya hala
yi huma kwini ku na vanhu vo tala la yi nga kona
ku dzima hi nga ku sweswi ku havana
okay all right chap that kid is telling me that there's a hippo somewhere. Like a hippo? Hippos are crazy, man. Like they'll kill you, and they are fast. You think that they're not fast? 2 years ago, a hippo killed someone that I know because they followed it. They thought it won't be able to catch them if it chases them because it seems big, like it's too big to be able to outrun a human, but they are fast. I don't know how long this thing can record, but I want it to record until the battery dies. We are in Meltown now. Malamulele. This is our town. But I'm gonna move this side in a couple of months. Don't want to live in a village anymore. I want to see how this video is going to come out. I've just bought on this week. Actually, I think it was Monday. It arrived on Wednesday. Today is Friday. So I'm still testing it out. It's the DJI Pocket 2. It's a brilliant camera. I like the fact that it has a gimbal. In fact, that's the reason why I bought it. It's because it has a gimbal, and I want to make this kind of videos where I'm just walking and talking. Plus, it's small. I can just take it anywhere I go. Plus, it's not overheating. I mean, I've been recording for like 64 minutes, and it's still not overheating. It's a good vlogging camera. Maybe the best vlogging camera. I mean, you can take it everywhere you go. You can take it everywhere you go. Even if you don't think you're going to record anything, you can take it wherever you go because it's convenient to do that. So this is Malamulele High Secondary School. We call it Malamulele High School. This is the school that those kids were talking about. This school is still, the school itself is not new, but they've had to relocate. Yeah. So these buildings are still new. It's actually beautiful. It's actually beautiful. I've never been this side. I think my memory is going to run out because I only have like 42 minutes left. It's a 32 gig memory card, that's why. I need to buy 64 gigabyte. Yeah, I think a 64 gig memory card will do. I mean, I don't want to record for like 2 hours and a half, maybe 2 hours max. I like the fact that I can just record with this thing for as long as I want without getting tired. You know, the only problem now is the memory card and the battery. But if I wanted to record for longer, I would just buy a memory card that has a large space, and maybe get an external battery or a power bank, and I'll be good. And it takes good video. I'm recording at 1080, 24 frames per second, and the footage is smooth. It can record up to 4K 120 frames per second. I think it is that powerful. Yeah, ne? Forget. I'm not very far from town. I need to get to my town before the battery dies. 74 minutes. This thing actually does have a long lasting battery though. This thing does have a long lasting battery. But let's see how long it can actually record. Someone told me that it can record for 140 minutes, depending on my settings. And now it is recorded. No, is it 1 hour and 40 minutes? Not. Yeah. So yeah, someone told me that it can record for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now it is recorded for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So maybe I will be able to make it to where I'm going before it switches off. What was I talking about? I was talking about how life is actually meaningless. I don't want to talk anymore because when I'm talking, I actually walk slow. And I'm trying to get to where I'm going before the battery switches off. But yeah, man, life is really meaningless. It's something that is important for people to know. It's something that's very important for people to understand. I mean, we're suffering a lot because we think that there's something that we must be doing in this world other than having fun. No, we should just have fun, man. Do what we love doing. We shouldn't be suffering as if we know what we're doing. No, we just have fun. Make our lives easy. Because now life is hard. And it's not hard because it should be hard. It's hard because humans are too serious, I guess. Humans think that what they're doing actually matters. So they're too serious. shouldn't take this seriously at all. You should just focus on having fun. The problem is that we need each other as people. You can't do this alone. If there are people that still want to cause harm, they will cause harm, and you will suffer because of that. If I decided now that I want to make another person suffer, I can do that easily. So it does matter that people really want the same thing, and that's to escape suffering without harming others. Because things become a bit complicated when we harm others trying to escape our suffering. Oh man, I have to tie my shoes. I don't want to switch this thing off. I'm sorry for that. I don't know how the footage is going to look. But yeah, I didn't want to pause it. I want my vlogs to be like this. I don't want to cut some parts out. I want to record until the battery dies or until I'm done. And this is good because it also helps me focus. When you do something for longer than you usually do it, you actually train yourself to be more focused, which is a good thing. These girls can sing. Malamulele, yo. Camera. Kadile kwen fu ntuba wan wa kuna fu we. Ile kwen straight. Loko nibuya cause lako anhle nxava swin'wana. Yeah? Loko posta ka YouTube, just no shoota ndhawu yaleyo. Problem minge twali, so imhaka ku camera I mic ile mo. All right, chap. Benedictine is the vegan. Benedictine's the vegan. Hi Valentine, Benedictine. I'm just I don't think they're going to get it. And I actually want to talk to people about different things, especially when I start leaving this side, because I think there's a lot to talk to people about, and I need to know why people believe in the religions that they believe in. I need to know what people think about the current state of education. Like, are we doing good? I want to know what people think about politics. I want to know what people think about having children in general. So these girls were telling me that there's there's a hippo as well. So they're telling me where it is, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna show you the hippo because I think the battery will die before I come back. I think I should buy a power bank actually. So it is recorded for like 1 hour 24 minutes. Damn. I like the fact that people don't know what this thing does. Because people are sometimes staring at me like, okay, what's going on? That's why I think it's the best camera for vlogging, because no one really knows that you're actually vlogging. No one really knows that you're actually recording something. So it basically records for 100 minutes. If it records for 1 hour 40 minutes, it has to be like 100 minutes. I don't get copyright strikes because of this song that's playing in the background. You know how YouTube is. But I'm very, very close now. Let's see how long it is recorded. Almost 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm actually trying different modes. The follow mode is the best though. I'm in my town now. Yeah, and it's still recording. 92 minutes and counting, dude. That's crazy. I want to see how my mic is going to do here because it's there's so much background noises, so I want to see if this mic is actually that good. So I prefer walking this side rather than using a transport. I think it's better to just walk, man. Because at least you are actually working out when you walk. I think people actually too spoiled now. You know, they don't prefer walking. They always want to use transport, and it's not good for your health, man. It's not good for your health. "95 minutes and counting." Sorry. I want to see how it will, but I don't think there is low light, but it isn't that low. Still recording because I wasn't checking. 97. It means it really does record for 140 minutes, because I think it's about to switch off now. It's 98. Still recording. Bananas here are very cheap. Yeah, it has recorded for almost 1 hour 40 minutes. This is crazy. But I think it will switch off before I get to the shop where I'm going. But it has recorded for 100 minutes. I think it's because I'm shooting at 24 frames per second, that's why. If I was shooting at 60 frames per second, probably would have switched off already. This is where we buy alcohol, liquor. Alright guys, let me switch it off because I don't know what happens when it switches itself off. Maybe it won't save this video. It's a long ass video. But this is where I'm going to shop. This is ShopRite. I need some watermelons and some avocados. Thank you guys.